Hey YouTube, this is Ben Gessel. How's it going? Well, definitely have a lot on my mind here, and we'll certainly do. I was gonna talk about, I don't know, some things that one of my roommates showed me tonight, but I now have something else to add to that train of thought as well. Yeah. Hmm. Oh, wow. Where do I begin? Where do I begin? Let me just start by saying, with this whole video, that when I was growing up, it was my experience that, um, yeah, 90 to 95% of my peers were basically idiots. Yep, they're idiots. And what I mean by that is, well, nope, not as intelligent as I was, but rather on top of that, it goes beyond just intelligence. And you don't tell someone they're an idiot, or you don't think of someone as an idiot just because they're not as intelligent as you are. It always means more than that. It tends to entail things like just obnoxious, man. So I mentioned this at the outset, and you get older and you see everybody differently, somewhat, and somewhat, or you have more life experience to kind of draw on, I guess. And some people still continue to be idiots on some level, and other people mature, and I don't know. I mean, for a lot of folks at my graduating class, I haven't seen him for a heck of a long time. And again, even in college, there are quite a few idiots. A fair number of them, at least. More than I would like to admit. And unfortunately, this was also the case at BYU. The whole world is full of idiots on some level. So, anyway, so, I really feel like I have to mention this. I don't mean this in necessarily a bad way. I guess it's just a word that I'm using to try to sum up many feelings I've had about so many people growing up. Now, mind you, growing up, my peers, my own peers, people my age, thereabouts, a little younger, a little older. But the older folks I tended to see as older, and the younger folks were more often felt the older I got, the more they're still my peers at a certain point, I suppose. But still, if they're a bit older, and if they're a little bit older, the older you get, the more that everybody's your peer if they're an adult anyway. So it's, I don't know, more or less, but kind of, I guess. Kind of not, but it all depends. But anyway, but this will segue, of course, my train of thought here. Will segue into my other trains of thought. But I'm gonna just let you guys know that this video is not necessarily one of my positive ones. This one's probably going to be a bit more on the negative side. So if you want to hear something negative, keep watching. If you only want to watch the positive stuff, then go see some of my other positive videos, and I'll make some more positive videos, I'm sure. If not tonight, then soon. So just, I have maybe not an axe to grind, but really the lion's share of what I want to talk about isn't so much this axe to grind, it's something else. So I continue to find I don't know why I'm saying this the third time. I continue to find online. Why would I think anything differently? I feel like I'm the idiot that would assume that things would just be different, online. But no, I continue to find, because I guess I can be an idiot this way, in my own expectations of how people ought to interact with people on YouTube. Ought to, right? Some kind of awareness of other people that one would have, one should have, at least if they're north of 18, because if they're younger than 18, which of course we never know because we never see someone's age by their name, of course, on YouTube ever. So we just assume that everybody's an adult if they're talking like an adult, which of course we don't really always know. But okay, you get my train of thought here on YouTube, which is why comment sections are so frustrating. But I continue to find many people, I'm assuming they're younger, maybe not. Oh, jeez. I certainly hope they are younger. Yeah, anyway. I continue to find idiots on YouTube, these utter idiots, that just feel like they have to explain when something was a joke. When some comment was a joke. Like they actually have to explain it to someone that didn't find the joke funny or just thought it was absurd to begin with. Because if something truly is funny, you would, ha ha, with a little head turning to the side, ha ha ha. If something is a joke, but it's not really funny, but it's not meant to be serious, and it's on YouTube with a period at the end, and you can't see that person's face, and obviously it's absurd if it's a joke. But then if you respond to something like that in a serious manner, these people assume that you thought that these people assume that you're actually taking this person very literally, as if you were the idiot. These people actually think that they need to go out of their way to explain to you that a tongue-in-cheek statement was a joke. And that if you just didn't find the joke uproariously funny and you responded in a that's just stupid, absurd kind of way, like what the heck? If that was your response, they actually have to explain to you, oh, this was a joke. Come on, just admit it. It was you didn't get the joke, just admit it. Now I'm asking myself, how old are these people? And of course, we never know on YouTube. We never know. But let's just assume that the average age of people that responded this way is 17. Let's just say it's 17. Hey, maybe it's 15. Maybe I'm responding to 15-year-olds. Maybe I am responding to 15-year-olds in a way that I respond to 35-year-olds. Just maybe. But I have no idea. Incidentally, I don't need to get into what the stupid comment was, but, I'm very familiar with the Chuck Norris memes, right, and jokes. Nobody ever needs to explain that to me, right? Some things just, to me at least, don't need any explanation. But no, I do actually understand. I do in fact understand when something is so absurd that it is definitely a joke. Oh, I definitely understand that. That is not beyond me. Me as a person, being of above average intelligence, rationale, even though I can't see that person, even though I can't see them making the joking, poker-faced slight grin, even though I can't see that, I can definitely perceive that this person is probably not serious. Oh, I definitely can get that. It's not beyond me. It's the number of times this nonsense occurs. But of course, you never know how old they are. You never know anything about the person responding. There's no way for you to kind of take it easy on the teenagers, depending on their mental development. It's just scale it back a little bit, maybe, right? Because they're teenagers, for crying out loud. You're not talking to grown adults, and if you're talking to grown adults, some grown adults, everybody's different, right? We can't expect everybody to be the same. some adults just aren't as far along, and that's just fine. Because as adults, we understand this, we should understand this because based on at least our maturity levels, depending on our development, that we're all different, and so, hey, what the heck, it doesn't matter. But yet, you still have these stupid, and I'm assuming, young freaking punks just going around being idiots on YouTube, thinking that they have to explain to people when something is a joke and someone's being serious. And then they want to just, still think that it's their duty, right, to point these things out to you. Wow. I really am beside myself. I'm at a loss for words. I really am. I really am. And it's the same nonsense. I've made some other videos like this before, which, I think I'm explaining so thoroughly that nobody can misunderstand what I'm saying. Nobody should misunderstand what I'm saying. Absolutely no one. No, if I was mildly Down syndrome, or if I did have some mental handicap, or if I just took people very, very literally, like folks with high functioning autism can sometimes do, if that was truly indeed the case, that I literally did not understand, I really did sincerely believe that this person was making, an accurate, or this person was making a serious comment about the strength of a person we're talking about, the actual physical capabilities and power of a certain person. Okay, whatever, doesn't matter. He's talking about Mike Tyson. Can defeat the Third Reich single-handedly. If I really believed that, he was being serious, and this person actually believed that. Okay, right. If I really believed, I guess you talk to him like you're talking to an infant, a toddler at a daycare, and just be like, okay, here's your binky, and okay, yeah. What else can you say? I mean, so it's just like it was inferred in my response to this statement that those kinds of things, until they become a meme, apparently, should be met with, that's absurd. Because it isn't funny. There's no humor behind it. There's no humor. I don't find... Look, let me back up here a little bit. Let's just talk about Mike Tyson for a bit. When I think about all things related to Mike Tyson as a subject matter for a joke, apparently, I don't think of Mike Tyson in the same vein of thought as I tend to think of humor. I'm not saying he's without humor. I'm just saying Mike Tyson deserves my support and me being considerate to him and me being kind to him, not out of fear of him knocking the crap out of me, which he could very easily do, like, of course, beating the crap out of me. It's more about what I feel like he's gone through, and what he's just, I'm just like, it's not in me to give him a bad time. So I tend to think of Mike Tyson as being a very good man who's gone through some crap and he still is trying to figure out some things out. And if you want to make a joke about Tyson, you can joke about his high voice. That's been done. That's humorous. That's something that we all understand pretty well. I don't find Mike Tyson's physical power, to be a humorous thing. And I don't find jokes about the Third Reich or Second Reich or whatever it is, Third Reich. I don't find Nazi humor, Nazi jokes particularly humorous as well, really. And you combine the two? No. I'm sorry, doesn't. I don't find it humorous. Why would I find it humorous? I'm trying to actually envision Mike Tyson going over to Germany and beating everybody up, but in World War II, because he's talking about the Third Reich, I guess. I'm actually just picturing that, and it's absurd. It's absolutely absurd. I mean, it's a little funny in a way, but it's more absurd than funny. So I called it out as being absurd. And that was my whole tone of voice was, it's absurd. It's not funny, it's absurd. When someone says Chuck Norris makes lightning, I don't know. What's a Chuck Norris meme? I think I'm about to make a part 2 on this, folks. I'm sorry. I don't know. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. Okay, but I tend to roll my eyes at the Chuck Norris stuff because it's, really has been overdone, at least online. But I don't find it distasteful. It's familiar to me. It's a familiar kind of thing. So, sure, what do you say? Oh, that's about it. That's about it. I don't know why I find Chuck Norris as being safer or more familiar ground for humor than Mike Tyson. I even feel kind of bad when people make fun of Tyson's high voice, but Tyson, he can take it. Sure, why not? Maybe it's because Chuck Norris has this kind of way about him where he just doesn't really, whatever. I think Norris has pretty thick skin. Maybe something like that. And it's not like there's a lot of humor that ever really pokes fun at Norris. It's more self-facing humor, whatever. Norris can laugh at himself. And he knows he's not a very good actor. And he's a good martial artist. But he's a good martial artist, He already knows this stuff, so, maybe I just find Chuck Norris, if you see what I'm saying, I don't know. And Tyson's got some boxing things coming up. He's in this serious mindset. So maybe we should think of everything more, when we think of Tyson, maybe think of wanting to support him. Maybe think of, he's past his prime, but he's still doing amazing. And I don't know. If you want to find something humorous about Tyson, don't laugh at his age. Don't, there's always a high voice, but some things I just don't, I don't know. Okay, so I'm going to mention this second thing here more in a second video, but this one can go on for a bit longer. I'll segue into the second subject here in a bit. Again, there's no end to the number of idiots on YouTube that have to explain this crap, and that GOD awful, really freaking stupid are whoosh. As an adult, I am forbidden to cause bodily harm to minors, of course, and basically forbidden to do the same to other adults as well. But it's a different story. But if I find any of these people in real life, just like Zach Galifianakis wanted to do, or joked that he wanted to do, or actually did, to the Biebs, Justin Bieber, I'd like to take my belt, get it out, and whack him a few times. Really, really truly give it to him via the belt. Just make sure that they understand. just to drive the point home, how insufferably juvenile some of this crap is. And that's what it is. It's crap. Okay. All right. Boy. So my roommate showed me some interesting things tonight. And it was cool. It was the first time I've seen some of this stuff. I had been to some anime conventions before, well, at least one. And I was familiar with I don't know, the kind of way that certain Asian, in particular Japanese guys would sometimes look to kind of look a little bit less distinctly masculine and more kind of androgynous, or both female and male at the same time, amongst many other off the beaten path kinds of ways of looking or acting or being. And I know about some of this stuff, not particularly in depth, but yes, these are familiar concepts to me, at least when I became more familiar with anime and dating a certain girl that was into anime in the past. And so, actually more than a few of them. But the thing is um, so I have a TikTok train of thought, which I'll get to more in a bit, because maybe, again, there needs to be a second video to kind of rant a bit. So there's a whole TikTok train of thought. Then there was, more importantly, which I'll get to more in this video, a virtual reality or VR chat room train of thought, which, bless his heart, it's not my roommate. I'm not getting on his case here. I'm glad that he showed me this stuff, because I've, in the back of my mind, wanted to do virtual reality gaming before, or at least I've been curious about it. And when you're in some of these games, you can talk to people. And of course, you can choose whatever avatar you want to choose, right? I've seen the movie Ready Player One. I've seen it at least once. So yeah, I'm very familiar with the whole concept, of course, of the real person who has created this avatar does not look like this avatar. It's up to that person whether or not they want to look like themselves in this virtual reality world or not. And so this is like so many things online. We're dealing with deception after deception, or we don't like to think of it as deceptions. More it's imaginative, or it's just kind of, you're sick and tired of your life being a certain way, so you want to do something different. So there you go. You see what I'm saying, right? And some people say, well, fantasy is like that anyway, or like reading a nonfiction, or reading a fiction book, or a video game is all escapism, or it's whatever. And I'm like, well, let's think about this for a second before getting into this VR thing. Regarding the psychological healthiness of, or not, the unhealthiness of different kinds of media. When you read something, or you play a game, or you watch a movie that's fantasy or something else along those lines, something where you're definitely not, at least your train of thought is very much outside of your everyday day-to-day concerns. You're fully immersed in whatever world that you're in. The more that you are truly and indeed fully immersed in that world, right? The more that you are, the longer you're there, the more that it becomes a matter of the nature of that place and its effect on a person and what you're actually doing, in terms of the effect it has in one's life. If the place that someone's in, first off, if the character they're playing, not anything. I'm gonna back up here a little bit. It doesn't always matter if you're playing a guy or a girl. That really doesn't matter a whole lot. You could be playing both a guy and a girl, like in Divinity Original Sin, right? Or at least the first characters you are, both a guy and a gal. I think that's usually how I play it. You don't have to be a guy and a gal, but that's the status quo. There's so many variables. There's the actual, and whether it's a story or a game or a movie, whatever it is. If it's a game, you have more control over what happens because you're like a fantasy adventure game. It's you're in charge. The movie, you're kind of just going with what the director wanted. A story is you're going the way the author wanted, but you also have the freedom to kind of imagine everything how you want it to imagine it. So you have a lot more freedom reading a story than watching a movie. A movie is very linear. Movies, everything's spelled out for you. Story is a lot more open to how you imagine things. In a video game, is here's the visuals. This is where we're giving you this, but you can literally do what you want, what you want to do in this game, more or less, depending on the nature of the game. So long, but you're not having to imagine the visuals as much. We're giving the visuals to you at least. And of course, the text adventure game is different because then you're also not only making your own. Well, anyway, I'm kind of getting off. You guys get the gist of what I'm trying to say. It's like you could have a blast. You could have a great time, but it kind of just depends on the person. It depends on how much fun you're having. It depends on all this stuff, and sometimes you do feel like this place is awesome. It has amazing characters. I love the characters here. I wish I could live in this world. You feel uplifted, right? Or you feel depressed, or something different. Okay, that all being said, so I originally thought, with VR games that it would be even more immersive. That's the whole idea. It isn't more immersive. You could really just, whoa, like live it, live the game. Holy crap, yes, that's what I want. But then there's the question of, well, I was just seeing all the weird stuff. My roommate was showing me. I should housemate. He lives in he's in another room, but he's anyway. He's a fellow renter in the same house. So he's showing me the weirdos, what we call a trap character. Right. He was showing me all that stuff, and he was trying to help me. Also, there's a few things. He's trying to help me understand. One, a lot of things like don't pursue romantic relationships if you get into the chats and these VR chat places and games, because you never know who people really are. For one, what I mean, and just their avatar looks completely different often from who they are, right? Of course. The other train of thought I had here was we were trying to figure out who really were guys and who were really gals, women, girls, whatever, on these TikTok things. And so this leads me to my TikTok train of thought, which I suppose I was going to make another video on, but maybe I might not have to. And I, as you guys could probably guess, all the VR stuff, it seems like it's limitless. There's so many things you could do. And so I will have more thoughts on all the VR things in the future as I don't know if I ever get the equipment, but it's in the back of my mind. But it's certainly very intriguing. But again, for me, the more I really enjoy a game, I know which games I enjoy the most. It's a knowledge of what I like. I already know what I like. So I would probably know what to expect if I got into a game that was a VR game, even one that had a lot of, chats and stuff. All right. But TikTok is something that, how can I put this? So, as you guys probably already know, I don't use Instagram. I think I have a Twitter account that I never use. I hate Twitter. I hate Instagram. I hate Snapchat. I don't know. I've never used Snapchat or WhatsApp, whatever. And I most certainly, of all these things, or whatever, I find all this crap, right? I most certainly do not use TikTok. I thought it was this fun little thing that teenagers seem to use to kind of send fun little videos to each other. And on some level, I still would like to believe that's the case. And in particular, this emphasis being on teenagers. Albeit the somewhat more airheaded ones sometimes. Sounds mean. I mentioned idiots, right? So most people I grew up with were kind of idiots. Kind of, right? It's just, why would things drastically change? You see what I'm saying, right? But so there really is no limit to the extent to which people really can be idiots on TikTok and juvenile and stuff like that. But that's still okay. It's not like I'm saying that something is actually morally wrong with these teenagers. It's not like that at all. It's just it really is banal, right? It's stupid. But the interesting thing was trying to tell the difference between these guys and gals that dress up in these often, brightly dyed, hairdos. Yeah, the Japanese thing, right? And other such things like that. Because they were really effective at hiding their real gender. And I'm not really sure what to make of all that stuff, except I don't know, it's pretty freaking darn weird. I can't say too much in the way of anything good about it, but it was a fun challenge to try to see if I could tell what gender they were. And in summary, where I'm going with all this, I suppose, is one, a lot of people on YouTube are idiots, especially, it doesn't matter what their age they are sometimes, but there really are some grade A idiots on YouTube. Two, that whole VR stuff is kind of in the frontier, but, it's good to know what to expect. And three, TikTok isn't worth anybody's time, even if you think you're having a fun time. Okay, catch you later. Take care. Bye.